look so different from up here. But I love you all. It's so fabulous. I'm so excited to be standing here in front of you. I'm so grateful that James gives me this opportunity to share some ideas with you. I have so much to say. Oh my gosh. Woo! There's so much to say. So my talk today is called Ride the Wave. The name is Ride the Wave. So these Studley guys decided to take a trip to Hawaii, and they were vacationing. It was their last day on the beach. And they'd always known each other. They were all buffed up and Studley and all those good things. And so it was kind of the end of the day. Not too many people were there. It was kind of a private little cove, but there was a lifeguard up there. And so one of the fellows, they were kind of crashed on the beach and drinking beers and hanging out and stuff. And one of the guys just wanted to take one more dip before they had to head back to work and all that kind of stuff. So he headed out, took a long, long, long swim. And when he turned, he was having a great time, the sun and all that. And he turned around, he was a little farther from shore than he thought he really had planned to go. So he turned around, started swimming back the other way. And when he stopped, he was farther from the shore than when he started. He was a little confused. So he put his head down and really powered out now, using all his muscle, all his legs and stuff. He's farther than before. Well, the lifeguard stood up and you need help. He's like, no, I'm a Studley man, right? I can handle this. I can do this. The guys are out there. I'm going to handle this and figure this out. Well, the waves, he got a little further out. The waves started coming closer together, and he got tumbled over and kind of lost his direction and drank some water, and he couldn't get his air. And he began to panic and realize he could be in really serious trouble. But he didn't want to call for help because he didn't want to look like a pansy or anything. So he didn't want to, look like, call a lifeguard, can help me. So he's going to battle it, and he just couldn't do it. By now his arms were like lead. He couldn't move his legs. He saw the sun up there, and he realized he could die out here. He could really die. And he made his way up and could barely raise his arm to the lifeguard, who took off. Now he realizes he's so far out, lifeguard's not going to get there in time. And he goes under again, and he can't come up, and he starts to sink into euphoria, and he looks up and he sees the sun shining through the water, and his last thought was, I need this, I just want to feel the sun on my body. If I'm going to die out here, I want to feel the sun on my body. And he fought his way to the top, and the sun was so glorious, and the sky in Hawaii is like no sky anywhere in the world, and he just wanted to feel the sun. So he just turned over and floated on his back so he could feel the sun on his whole body. And the waves that were crashing before started lifting him up over the next wave, and then he went down on the trough, and he was lifted up again to the next wave. He started to relax and started to breathe, and realized the waves that he thought were trying to kill him just a moment before were lifting him up. What he thought was trying to kill him was his own thought that he could control it, that he could be right, that he could look good before his fellow guys, that he was bigger than this ocean, and he wasn't. And when he let go, when he just surrendered, when he said, okay, here I am, take me, do with me what you will, he was saved. But it was his thought that was killing him. And the new thought, which was surrender, was the thing that saved him, not the ocean. It wasn't the ocean that was trying to kill him, it was his thought. And his new thought saved him. So how many times are we crashing around in the waves of change, and we're fighting them, and we can't get our air, and we don't know which way to go, and we just remember to just let go. We just remember that all we need is here already, that all the presence, all the power, all the love, all the joy, all the life will lift us up when we let it. Are you with me? Okay. So, Ernest Holmes says we live by love and law. We live by love and law. Love is our power to make decisions, the power to make choices. And if we notice that a choice that we've made isn't taking us where we want to go, or it's taking us too far from our goal, we can make a new choice. We can head in a new direction. And the law is unlimited power. It can do anything, anything, anything. But it waits for our direction. It waits for your command, like Jeeves the butler, who's there to serve your every whim, but he won't move until you give him direction. So that's what the love and law is all about. So Martha Beck wrote an article in the Signs of Mind magazine in June called Navigating the Waves of Change. And she says we're in a tsunami of change right now, that the waves are coming faster and closer together. Has anybody noticed any changes in their life? The unexpected, and sometimes a bunch of them at one time. It's like I'm trying to deal with this, and now this one jumps in, and then something else, and something shows up from there and there, and we're like struggling. But she says we need to learn, rather than clinging to the shore, which is the way we used to do it and the way that worked for us before that no longer works, we need to learn to ride the wave. And she said once the surfer figures out how to balance on his board, then the waves become playmates. They're not a challenge, they're a challenge. But they're not trying to kill him, they just want to play. And he's always looking for a bigger wave, spends every minute out in the ocean looking for another wave, the next wave, come on, the next wave, the next wave. So she said one thing that we learned in the horrible tsunami in Japan is the worst place to take refuge in a wave like that is in a rigid cement structure. Because she said about 4 or 5 minutes into the wave, they all floated off their foundations and started crumbling in the water. We need to be flexible. We need to go with the flow. It's not trying to kill us. It's trying to move us to our next opportunity, our next exciting adventure. So I love to ride my bike. Well, I used to love to ride my bike. But then it got broken, and I didn't ride it for a long time, and I just got it back a little while ago. So I'm learning to ride. I mean, like, I was really confident. I was riding down the main street into town, and along the cars, there was a bike lane, but I was feeling really good. Now I noticed I wasn't feeling quite that confident. I was a little more timid. So, but it's okay. I mean, I was taking, back streets, alleys, going through the parking lots instead of taking the main drag. So I was riding my talk on Friday, and all of a sudden I heard, stop, go ride your bike. And I was talking about riding the wave, so I went, okay, I listen really good when I'm doing this stuff. So I went, okay, I figured Spirit knows something I need to know in that moment, so I stopped, and I'm going upstairs. I said, I'll just wash my hair, and I heard, no, go ride your bike. Okay, I won't wash my hair. I'll just take a quick shower. No, go ride your bike. Okay, pull on the sweats, go ride the bike. But I wasn't directed to back streets. I was directed to main drag, right? Well, now the bike lane's not there. There's cars in that lane now. So I had said, okay, I'll ride this sidewalk. And it was really wide, and it was fine. And then it got narrower and narrower, and now there was a bus bench, a metal bus bench over here, and some newsstands, and this big light thing, and some posts that had electronic stuff in it. And I'm looking at all, it's like an obstacle course coming at me, and I'm going, wait a minute, and I started wobbling. I was looking at the bike, and I'm looking at the bench, and I'm looking at the light, and I'm looking at the thing, and I'm going, I started wobbling. And then I went, wait a minute, no. Look at the space between the obstacles. Focus on where you want to go. So I focused my attention on the space between the obstacles, and the bike straightened right up, and I sailed right through. I had to weave around a little bit to get around stuff, but I went right through, and the next one, the same thing. And that's what we need to learn to do. See, what happens is fear causes us to tighten up. And when we tighten up, we're not as responsive to life. We're not as able to move when the next wave comes. So when we relax and we trust life is going to carry us effortlessly to our next greater yet to be, then we go with the flow of life, and life just carries us like the wave. Effortless. It's fabulous. I had such a great time. It was awesome. So in navigating the waves of change, Martha Beck studied with a lot of shamans around the world in various countries in the outback. And she came up with what she calls non-religious spirituality. Do you like that? Sounds like Science of Mind, doesn't it? Non-religious spirituality. So she gives us 4 words to help us ride the wave of change. And here they are: wordlessness, oneness, imagination, and form. Now, you already know about imagination and form. Imagination is where we create the dreams, the visions, the intentions for our life, and then form is how we manifest them into form, and you already know that stuff. So I'm going to focus on the first two, wordlessness and oneness. And this is what she says. Wordlessness is a moving awareness, is moving our awareness from our reasoning, logical mind into nonverbal consciousness. But this is the exciting part that she learned. Verbal consciousness, our reasoning mind, can process 14 bits of information in a second. Guess how much your nonverbal mind can process? 11 million bits in the same second. That's your consciousness. That's your awareness. So no wonder when we go into that space, all these incredible things can come through. Songs that are completely written, books, poetry, buildings, discoveries, whatever it is. Of course, 11 billion bits of information in 1 second. So then oneness happens automatically as we drop into wordlessness. And that's the spacious awareness that we're united with everything. That's all one thing. And we're all it. And so it's just this magnificent, and she said another word for it is love. Not an attachment, but an expanded sense of the glory of all of it, and that we're all one being. We're all one being. And she said when we create from this space of oneness, we create objects, events, and actions that benefit all beings, because that's us. Why would we not want to benefit everyone? Because everyone is ourselves, and there's no separation, right? So I had a really pissy week this week. And when I wrote my talk, I didn't even know why, and that made me even more, But the truth, I figured it out. I do know. It was my computer. 2 weeks I spent on the phone with tech. I know them by name. Katya. I can't remember the other guy's name. I can't quite pronounce. Koresh or something like that. And his friend Norman. I don't know how Norman got in there. But 2 weeks later, I'd spent $379 on the phone, $100 for a fellow who came to the house, and $69 at Staples, and my computer still didn't work. So I wasn't having a good time at all. So I called my friend Esther. Do you remember my friend Esther, who was from Mexico, and her love, and he bought her a ring. They're going to get married. And I cried. I was so happy for her. I cried tears of joy. And I felt so good for about 30 minutes, and then I went right into stupid soup. Right back into stupid soup. You ever been there? Stupid soup is, we know this stuff, right? I know this stuff. I've been doing this stuff for 25, 30, I know this stuff. So, but I found, finally, I'm praying, I'm doing everything. I finally found this fabulous statement in the Course in Miracles that I'm going to share with you. And it helped me get through that week. It was, this thought I do not want. I choose instead, and then I said my affirmation, whatever it was at the moment. So you want to say that with me? The first one is, this thought I do not want. This thought I do not want. And then I choose instead. So what I would say is that I love all people and all people love me. So let's say that. I love all people and all people love me. And that's the truth. So that was a big help. And I was feeling really good. And then Wednesday came, and I wasn't going to go. And I wasn't going to do the workshop. But Reed had sent out an SOS, and I had to drop out of a Sunday because I got a job. Woohoo! And on a Sunday. And so I thought, well, I really should say yes, because I had to, okay, so I'll go. So I went. Robert McPhee, the author of Manifesting for Non-Gurus. Oh, my goodness, you guys, he was astounding. And I did the workshop, I assisted him and all that kind of stuff. It was fabulous. I couldn't sleep that night. I was so excited I couldn't sleep that night. I jumped out of bed at 6. I got up, didn't jump, but I got up slowly at 6 o'clock and grabbed my journal because I had the books. I grabbed my journal and I couldn't wait to do these 5 steps and stuff, and created 3 inspired actions out of my intentions that I wanted to attract, and I did them, all 3. It felt so good. The next day did the same thing. Next day did the same thing. Today I only get 2 because I'm here with you. But that's good, because I'm going to do these 2 too. It was absolutely fabulous. And I wrote them on a 3x5 card, and then you check them off when you get them done. So powerful. Oh my gosh. I mean, I have a morning practice. You have a morning practice. But it hadn't been inspired recently. You know, you kind of, I don't know, I was doing all my things. It was, I mean, and I loved the time that I spend, but I didn't have that joy that just bubbles up through you, just can't even contain. That's what I was missing, and I got it back. And it's fabulous. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I said yes. See, when you put it out in the universe and something shows up, please say yes. Because you don't know. Even like Robert McPhee, there was a very small group of us. He says, you don't know what's going to come out of this. One of you may want me to come speak at your corporation, for your corporation when they do their retreat or whatever. So you never know. So always say yes. And I'm so grateful for that opportunity. And I'm doing my journal every day. And I absolutely love it. Robert McPhee was originally worked with Jack Canfield. He still does in his premium group. He speaks to about 50 people at 6 o'clock every morning all around the world to just keep people focused. It's about focusing on the space between the obstacles. Forget the obstacles. Do not look at what you do not want, but look where you want to go. Keep your focus on where you want to go between the obstacles to your goal to reach your intention. And you absolutely can do that. And I love it. So I want to leave you with another quote. And this one's from the Course in Miracles, and it just absolutely blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind. So here it is. Take a deep breath. Let it go. And here it is. I am blessed to be one with the universe, with God, the Father, creator of the whole, which is myself, forever one with me. The whole, which is myself. Say that. The whole, which is myself. See, when we get that, when we let ourselves believe that, believe it, it's true. It's who you are. Yourself is the whole. All of it. The whole Megillah, the whole ball of wax, all of it. It's all you. And so when we get in that place through wordlessness and oneness, and we feel that expanded sense of joy and bliss, when we know we're one with everything, all the trees, the flowers, the sky, the wave, the change. See, if you are the whole, then you are the wave. So the wave is your friend. It wants to bring you to your next adventure, your next experience, your next greater yet to be. It's not trying to take you away from anything. The waves go toward the shore, not the other way. So when you feel that expanded sense, it's like a love for all humanity, a love for Mother Earth, a love for each other, a love for yourself. Say, I love myself, my wonderful, wonderful self. Say, I love myself, my wonderful, wonderful self. So when you feel separate, when you feel afraid, when you feel overwhelmed by the waves of change, sink into wordlessness, tap into oneness, and ride the wave. Namaste.